doing a great job tonight. We're flying through things. We're knocking off topics one by one. So now it's time to get to the meat of tonight's show. We're going to talk about some budget starting pitchers. How do you want to do this? Want to go 1-1-1-1?
Yeah, let's go back and forth. I think we both have just about the same amount of numbers. I know you want to talk about the flashbacks too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's leave the flashbacks.
Your number 3 guy is not the flashback version, correct?
No, that is the straight version.
Okay. So I'm looking at the market right now of the starting pitchers. I mean, if you really want to go out and spend what it's going to cost you at least $70 to get Clayton Kershaw. I mean, that's something you can do. These are, I believe, all guys that are going to cost you less than 1,000 stubs.
Yes.
And
in most cases, much less than that.
The first one that I am going to recommend you take a look at is the Angels' Garrett Richards, currently going for a buy now of $415, sell now of $250.
Right.
He's got a 4-seam slider, 2-seam cutter, and curveball. This guy's nasty. You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to do something I don't like to do a lot. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to go to my statistics. I'm going to go to starting pitchers. Where is this guy here? Who am I talking about?
Garrett Richards.
Look at this. He's pitched 5 games for me, all right? 1 at bat.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that at bat? I think we know what happened to that at bat.
There's no way. That's not what I'm talking about. It's bad.
No, he got to strike out. I guess that other Garrett Richards home run was something else. Only 8 innings because I used him in a bunch of BR games. I really hate the stats page. Oh, great. It doesn't even have pitching stats on the starting pitcher thing. Excellent. Love this game.
Flip the stats. I think you can flip over. You're looking at batting stats, maybe?
No, I was on the starting pitcher one, and of course, it doesn't let me see it there.
No, you're looking at the pitcher, but I think you have to actually switch it to.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, there you go, pitchers. No, there's ways to look at batting stats and ways to look at pitching stats, I believe.
That's a terrible idea.
I'm not saying the design's great. I'm just telling you that's the way it works.
Boom. Garrett Richards, 5-0 with him. Dude's a beast.
Yes.
Love him so much. I've let up 2 runs with him. I haven't pitched a ton of innings with him because I've been playing, I've used him mainly in Battle Royale.
Right.
But I love him. If you have 250 stubs to spend, go get yourself Garrett Richards.
And who doesn't have 250 stubs to spend?
I mean, everybody should.
Yeah. So, and the big thing about the Garrett Richards, you're going to look at the stats, is he's got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, a 95-mile-an-hour two-seamer, a 95-mile-an-hour cutter, but here's where you really want to start looking at stuff. So his his cutter has an 84 control. He has better control over his cutter than he does his 4-seamer or 2-seamer. Always remember what your control ratings are. They have something to do with when you hit your spot, how close to the spot the pitch goes. So slider, 81 control, cutter, 84 control. Pro tip is his curveball, though. Even though it's his 5th pitch, he's only got 38 control over it. 78 miles an hour up against that 4-seam of a 97 and 93 break.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Because who is the one pitcher you know that I never want to use? Mainly because I faced him a million times online.
The one guy. Oh, you're gonna
I love when they bring him in because I always crush him. But I don't like to have him.
Darren O'Day.
No,
or Neshek.
Close.
Or Neshek.
Yes.
Neshek.
Neshek.
One of those guys.
Pat Neshek?
Neshek, yes.
I was watching the Astros game a couple nights ago. I think he threw like a 91-mile-per-hour fastball and like a 68-mile-per-hour curveball. Or not curveball, changeup. And then I thought, I think I need some Pat Neshek on my team.
Oh, I know.
I think I'm going to start using him now.
The pitch speed differential is something I've been starting to use a lot more on my team, looking at it. And one of the guys that's not going to be on this list, but should be because of his knuckleball, is Stephen Wright. Mm-hmm. I didn't even think about this at the time.
Nasty guy.
Wright throws an 88, 89-mile-an-hour 4-seamer.
Yeah.
As opposed to his 70-mile-an-hour knuckleball. I mean, knuckleballers are hard enough to hit as it is, but when you include a 20-mile-an-hour jump on a fastball, insane. So again, you're not going to hear him on this list, but Stephen Wright, Boston Red Sox knuckleballer, somebody you could look on, throw in your rotation, and really screw with people online.
Yeah, I forget. I know there was someone I was looking at. I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of good. And then I realized he had like no differentiation. Actually, you know what? It is the next guy that I'm going to bring up. I did put him on the list, but he doesn't have that big of a differentiation, and I'm kind of upset about it.
Yeah, they're still working on it. I think the pitch effects data is still coming in.
But let's go to your next guy, and I'm going to have to try to remember what team he's on now.
He is on the Astros right now.
The Astros.
Yes. Not
Sure.
pitching very well. Has actually had a couple of downgrades recently, I believe. So the reason I'm going to bring him up, and this is going to be Doug Fister, right-hander for the Houston Astros.
Currently going for 279, 190.
Correct.
It's a great sweep right
really
there.
Easy pickup for you. Not great in terms of hits over 9 or Ks over 9, but that's not what you're looking for on this. You're looking for his home runs over 9, especially in Battle Royale, and his walks over 9. So walks over 9 is something that will help you. It makes the actual mechanic of pitching easier to hit the line. For meter pitching, easier to hit the line. For analog pitching, easier to hit the line on the way down. For pulse pitching, it keeps your pulse smaller and slower. But
this is what you've learned from all your testing?
Yes. Oh, God. Too much testing. But here's what you like about Doug Fister, and you have to be crafty to use him, which most people can. Sinker, two-seamer, cutter, curve, change. Everything he throws moves. Everything he throws is... He's a junk baller. He's a right-handed junk baller, but with great control. 91 control on his sinker, 93 control on his two-seamer, 96 control on his changeup. And even on his fourth and fifth pitches, 62 and 73 on his cutter and curveball. Everything you throw is going to go where you throw it. It's going to go. You're not going to get any, oh my God, I just threw this ball over the middle of the plate. You can pick corners with this guy. You can frustrate people with his sinker. Again, good defense behind you. Get yourself a Doug Fister. He's going to – you just ground balls all day.
Yeah, he's kind of – I mean, we talked about Corey Kluber in the captain sets, or the captain store. Doug Fister's kind of like the real cheap version of Corey Kluber.
Absolutely.
The only real big difference is Kluber's got a slider, Fister's got a cutter.
Right.
And Kluber's got a four-seam, and Fister's got a two-seam. Other than that, they have the same makeup. They have the same kind of delivery. So they're very close to each other.
Yep. And the thing you always, like I said, again, you want to remember when it comes to this is you have to have a pretty good defense behind you. So if you've got, Andrels and Simmons behind you, I'm trying to think of a good budget second baseman right off the top of my head that's good fielding. Probably like a Jonathan Scope, maybe.
I want to say Odor is still not super expensive.
He just got bumped to gold, so he took a rise. But you're right, still not crazy expensive. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention about your guy, Garrett Richards, before we get off of it too much, Garrett Richards, because he's hurt, not going to be doing too much up or down. So he's pretty much going to stick with that.
Sometimes that's nice.
Exactly. Absolutely. Especially the way the Angels are playing right now.
Next up, I am going to go with a man from Tampa Bay, which this is in order of the teams as it is in the other screens, not alphabetically. Sometimes very confusing. I'm going to go with Jake Odorizzi. Odorizzi,
yep.
Four-seam, split, two-seam, cut, slider. He throws everything hard. That's going to be my main knock against him. His fastball is 91, or his fastballs are 91, and his slider being as low as pitch is an 82. So, I mean, with him, you're going to have to really mix up location because you're not going to be working fast low. So he's going to be a little bit more difficult to pitch with, but still a very good pickup. Good control on everything, really, except for the cutter and the slider a little bit. But he's definitely worth taking a look at.
And the thing I really like about Odorizzi is, so you mentioned that he throws everything hard. Well, when you get into a split finger pitcher, a guy without a true change, another guy like this is Kevin Gausman. Throws four-seam, two-seam, and splitter out of the hand in this game, all four, and even the cutter for that matter, all four of those pitches look exactly the same. You can't tell until the very, like I would say, probably last 20 feet in game. And you get a high break on a two-seamer like a 76 like he has. Again, it's a pitch to contact guy. He's not a strikeout guy. Even though he's got a 69 K over 9, he is going to be somebody you look at in terms of throwing his fastball, establishing both fastballs first, coming back and using the splitter to get guys to swing over top.
And for your next pick, we're actually going to stick with the Rays.
Yes.
And go to Alex Cobb.
This guy.
Currently at 290, 190 right now.
Yes, absolutely love this guy, specifically because of his changeup. He has one of the best non-circle changeups in the game. I will warn that his windup is a little wonky. He has a leg on his leg kick. He has a pause. So if that bothers you, don't bother with Alex Cobb. But his two-seamer changeup, you can, again, guys that have pitches that look the same out of the hand, his windup specifically coming through, but that changeup, you throw it low. I've seen people just nonstop swing over top of it.
Yeah, I like me an Alex Cobb.
Yep.
Next one is a guy I got early and kind of love him. Cliff Lee off the free agent pile, even though he's actually retired, I believe. 535, 330 as of this recording. 98 stamina, which is nice.
Yes.
85 break, so. 88 walks per 9. He's got a two-seamer, a cutter, a four-seamer, a circle change, and the slow curve. I like the mix of pitches. Got something breaking every which way but loose.
Yep.
And he's just one of those crafty lefties. He just seems to get guys out in this game.
And again, his sweeping curve, 85 break, 77 control. None of his pitches have less than 70 control, and his walks over 9 is 88. Again, nothing's going to overpower anybody, but you can just, again, pick corner, throw a low curveball, little cutter up under the hands to a righty. Just annoying. You can be an annoying pitcher. And one of the best strategies for hashtag Team No Money in Diamond Dynasty is become annoying on the mound. Be one of those guys. I know I got good contact on that, and when you really did.
Ooh, one of the things somebody mentioned from the last show, they like the tips about pitching in Fenway Park. If you have pitchers that you know aren't going to strike out guys, but are gonna induce a lot of foul balls, let me recommend Dodger Stadium and what's Oakland? Just Coliseum? O.co. That's it.
Yeah.
I recommend those. Lots of foul territory, so you can get those first basemen and catchers over there to make plays.
Absolutely. The other ones, and this is going to sound strange because the miles above ground actually plays in the game. Coors Field has a huge outfield. And I think, Great American Ballpark, both really large outfields that you can possibly, if you get the ground ball guys. So you keep guys that have low home runs, get nice high fly ball, or get nice high, where it won't go out of the park.
According to Warrior 2K17 in the chat, he says it's not O.co anymore.
Oh, I believe that. Which is good because O.co shows up as a link in most Twitch chats, and the Nightbot says no. We found that out the hard way.
Interestingly enough, Ice Chili in the chat has actually mentioned your next choice.
Ice, you got to let me pull the guys out first. He's got my book. That's what he's got. He's got the scouting report.
We're talking about Francisco Liriano for the Pirates. Currently
Absolutely.
At 295, 160.
All right, so Francisco Liriano, and this is not his flashback. This is actually his live series card. Is an 82 overall right now. What you like about this is his hits over 9 is a 78. His Ks over 9 is an 80. His home runs over 9 is a 73. His walks over 9 is a 47. This is not going to be a huge control guy for you. What this guy is going to do is you're not going to get good contact against him, and you're going to get a lot of strikeouts on his changeup slider. 92 mile an hour two-seamer, which again, not great control, but his four-seamer is the secret. So his four-seamer has an 80-plus break on it. In this game, that tails, so you can throw inside four-seam fastballs to guys who are a little too patient and cut the corner, and then throw your changeup changeup slider, which has a 95 break to it, by the way, just for the strike out. I haven't seen anyone that can actually hit Liriano's slider online yet in just like low-level team, again, hashtag team no money games.
So you're saying he's not like the rookie sale?
No, not rookie sale. He's not going to be. Well, no, he's not unlike the rookie sale. Because
do we want to have this? Do we want to have this discussion right now?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Over rookie sale, I crush him all day long now. Everybody has him. He's become the new Pat Neshek for me. Everybody has him, so now I crush him all the time. I had Francisco Cervelli almost put one out of Minute Maid Park, like out of the whole place. I hit like the top brick on the way out. I was very upset.
I can absolutely see going into a game, like even batting practice offline and playing against the starting pitcher sale because they have the same motion. If you've gotten to the point where the motion doesn't bother you, because the rookie sale has high numbers with the exception of his walks over 9. So he's gonna, if someone's using him, he's gonna throw something in the middle of the plate to you at some point.
Yep.
Absolutely will, or he'll walk you. So you're saying that you've gotten so used to the motion, which was Neshek's big thing.
Yep.
That it doesn't really matter. His pitches aren't great. It's fastball, two-seam slider, right? For the rookie sale.
I think so.
Hold on,
I can pull it up.
Go ahead.
1 second.
You got it? Go right ahead, please.
White Sox flashbacks. It is 4-seam slider, 2-seam changeup.
So I mean, it's again nothing crazy. I mean, I don't think his changeup's that great. So, and I know one of the questions we had coming this week is, would you rather have starting pitcher sale or relief pitcher sale on your team? Because you can only have one or the other. You can't have both.
I'd probably go starting pitcher sale, I think.
I think I do too, because a better pitch mix, even though, again,
it's the same pitches, but it's just better.
Right. Just a better overall. I don't know. Because if now you're getting to the point where if people are getting used to that motion, is starting pitcher sale going to be? I know those ratings are too good. Never mind.
Yeah, his ratings are legit. For the starting pitcher version, his ratings are legit.
Yeah. So starting for whoever asked that question, starting pitcher sale over relief pitcher sale, and Francisco Liriano is essentially sale light.
Yeah.
With what he does.
I would say that. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
My next pick is this is just for Paul right here. I'm going with Justin Verlander. You can get him right now for $330, $215. I like him. Nice even across the stats. Everything's between right around that 70 line. I like that.
Right.
I do love his pitch mix though. 4-seam, circle change, slider, and a 12-6 curve. Pretty much love everybody that has a 12-6 curve and the slider combo.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think he can still bring it with the fastball. Daddy Leagues has him at 93. That's kind of like the average, right? So I think you can get it up to 95 if you like up and in.
Yeah, anything you see on Daddy Leagues in terms of fastball is his rating, his in-game rating, which means that you can pitch pretty much, I think it's 2 to 3 miles an hour over if you do max effort.
Yeah, so I mean, and I feel like he's working on the comeback trail right now. Let me pull up his real stats. Justin Verlander. I want a way to tell Google that if I'm typing a baseball player's name, I want Baseball Reference as the first answer every time.
Yes, or just how they have the what is it, the button where you can just hit feeling lucky. Yeah. It should just be feeling reference, feeling baseball reference.
Feeling reference. Let's see. He threw a complete game for a loss. 7 innings for a loss. I mean, come on. I mean, he's not getting shelled. He's getting 10, 8, 9 strikeouts.
Right.
He's doing good. I mean, he's pitching better than his record. His record's 2-4.
That I agree with. But again, the wins are gonna play a little bit in that too. So
yeah, I like him, but some others might not. 92 stamina, always nice to have.
Anything over 80 essentially is always great. Again, with Verlander, 92 is amazing. We talked about earlier the 89 stamina for Kazmir. Same thing.
Yep.
So
next up for you, this dude played for the. I did not even know this guy played for this team.
Yes, the Athletics.
I mean, I know he plays for that team now. I did not. His jersey card is very confusing to me.
Yes,
he's
played for a lot of teams in the last couple of years.
I must have missed the memo that Rich Hill played for the Yankees, but he's now in the A's.
Rich Hill. He relieved for the Yankees. He relieved for the Red Sox. He was an Oriole for a cup of coffee.
He's on the Chris Capuano train.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, he's a lefty that can throw strikes, which immediately means you're going to have a longer career than any other pitcher.
Yep. And he also has the 12-6 slider combo that I like.
Yes, 12-6 is his main pitch, but it's not even his best off-speed pitch. His slider is far and away harder to hit than his 12-6 curve. His 12-6 curve I use as a setup pitch for the slider.
Now, are you throwing that 12-6 curve in the zone, or are you trying to throw it under and try to get?
I'm throwing the 12-6 curve for the most part. I'm catching side to side because the 12-6 can also have a scroogey look to it, screwball. So you throw it outside and it comes back. I will throw it out of the zone left and right, which is a little weird considering it should be something you go down with. But when you look at a 12-6 curveball coming across the body, it looks like it's going to hit every time. If you get the right spot, it looks like it's going to hit the edge of the strike zone every time.
I've been having the worst time trying to throw 12-6 curveballs with pitchers to their throwing side.
Okay.
It's like having a righty trying to throw it to the right side of the plate.
Right.
I don't know why. I just, for some reason, I can't hit the meter back that way. Obviously, you're playing on. You're playing with pulse, so that doesn't really matter to you. But
no, I'm using analog. I switched to analog like a week and a half ago. Couldn't believe it. It was a huge thing for me. Again, Scott Cole. I was watching Scott Cole play as his Road to the Show guy, and he was explaining why he used analog, and it just clicked in my head. I was like, you know what? He's absolutely right. I should be using analog pitching, and this helps me immensely, especially online.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
The
other thing about sorry.
No, please continue. Wrap up on your Rich Hill.
The wrap up on the Rich Hill. The big thing is obviously 92 mile an hour curveball, 92 mile an hour fastball, and the 12-6 to 75 miles an hour. So again, you're getting up to that 20 mile an hour chain differential in speeds.
I just wanted to take a quick second to answer a question from the chat. MK Hit Ryan asks, "How is Colin Ray?" So let me just go flip over to him real quick.
Colin Ray. I had somebody use him against me in a Battle Royale game, and I could not touch him.
He's pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Stats kind of suck, but 4-seam, curveball, splitter, cutter, and 2-seam. So four fastballs and a curveball. But the fastball can get up to what, like 95?
Yeah.
Only problem is he has 4 pitches that are going to be right around 90 to 95. But then he drops that curveball at 81.
And online, when you're using, obviously playing against a computer's not going to drop 50% curveballs. But online, I mean, if you can get fastball, curveball working, and then feed the splitter 2-seamer from there, I find the 2-seamer a great pitch to get people to like ground into double plays with, or to break the bat, which happens so often in this game. So
yeah, I try to bust that in. With a righty, try to bust it in on righties and try to snap that.
Yeah.
My next pick, we're going over to the Cardinals. We're going with Michael Wacha, 575, 350 right now. I don't know if I hate his windup or if I love it. I'm still trying to determine that. He's got a 4-seam, a change, a cutter, and a curve. The fastball can probably get up to like 97, which is very nice. And then you can drop a 75-mile-per-hour curveball on you, which is 20-mile-per-hour difference. Pretty nasty. I like to think of him as a mini Wainwright, almost. The Wainwright has the sinker, which is nice.
Right.
We touched on it in one of the earlier episodes. All the earlier episodes you can watch on youtube.com/ThatSportsGamer. We have a whole 2 of them. We talked a little bit about how the pitch breaks can change. I was very upset when I saw that Adam Wainwright had a curveball and not his 12-6 curveball anymore.
Right.
But if you go in there and you play with him, his curveball is essentially a 12-6 curveball.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that I love about it is you'll see Wainwright, his tendency for his curveball is more, like you said, 12-6, 11-5. No, right-handed, other way around. So 1-7. So you get that. Whereas like Waka, again, like you said, you get the difference in curve. And again, another small pro tip: if you don't get the curve you want, I wouldn't suggest doing this all the time, as it's annoying as hell. But if you're looking for a strikeout pitch and you want a curveball, you can hit L1 to step off. You will actually get a different curve when you come back on the mound.
When you started talking, I thought that was going to be it, and now I'm really excited to try that out.
Yes.
Because I feel like sometimes with I use that 91 flashback to Grom a lot, and sometimes I feel like his curveball doesn't get a good break, or his slider doesn't get a good break. And I think I'm going to have to start stepping off a little more.
Yeah, you can step off, and like I said, when you come back and pick the same pitch, it will give you, because it's kind of random, kind of not, depending on what your break rating is on your pitch. But you will absolutely get a different curve or different slide if you hit L1.
Matt Foley says Waka has a glitchy windup. I think that's why I can't tell if I love it or hate it.
Yeah, that's the thing is that if you're pitching with him, it doesn't affect you because his windup, even though it's herky jerky, like you don't have to herk and jerk the stick.
Yeah.
It just looks herky jerky. It's not like Alex Cobb where you're taking a long time to pull the meter down and then a long time to bring it back up.
He's got a very smooth animation, a smooth meter. I guess what we say, a smooth meter. That sounds terrible, but
he is a smooth criminal, right?
Sure.
No. One other thing, did you know this? And this is something I found out recently the other day. Did you know that you can use the meter as a 3-click meter and not like a hold?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't.
Sometimes I accidentally
aware
double
of that.
tap the pitch button.
Right. So I mean, for those of you that are using meter and might not like the slow windups because you're holding the button and letting go of it, you can actually use it as a 3-click like Tiger Woods' old system. So
I do it as a hold most of the time just because I think I've always been used to that.
Yeah, that's how I used it. That's how I've always used it. So.
Lastly, well, not lastly, but pretty much lastly. Then I will do a quick couple nominations. You've got Colin Mchugh, who's currently going for 274, 140.
Yes. Love the Mchugh for a couple of reasons. First of all, his 12-6 curve, we talked about that. Even though he's a 4-pitch guy, and you try to go for a 5-pitch guy most of the time, his 12-6 curve is 72 miles an hour off of a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. One of the best curveballs in the game with a 90 break, a 79 control. Again, I cannot stress how important it is to make sure that you have a high control rating on your curveball if you don't want to hang it, especially a 12-6 curveball. 12-6 curveballs that hang stay in the middle of the plate because most people like to use the 12-6 curve low and not to the sides.
Yep.
First of all, learn how to throw that pitch to the sides of the plate. Second of all, don't hang it. And the 79 control will help that. But again, everything else, 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Good cutter is his main pitch with good control on it. But you kind of want to stray away from it a little bit because the break's a little low on it. And his changeup is not going to strike hitters out. Even if you throw it low, it does not have the break. It just looks like a slow fastball. Use it as a pitch to contact pitch, not a strikeout pitch.
Last thing I wanted to mention was if you go into these missions over here in the collect screen,
yes,
I'm going to have to scroll down here a little bit, right? They still show up here. Some guys I wanted to call out. You can do the Raise 25 man and get an 85 overall Scott Kazmir starting pitcher. I think his main pitch is the sinker.
Two-seamer and a running fastball. He's one of the
Running
few people
fastball.
in the game with the running fastball.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Scott Kazmir. He's
Yes.
a bit. Only problem, 4-pitch pitcher. Not going to really get too mad about that. Also, not the greatest of speed differentiations. Only about 10 miles per hour there. Next up is the Angels 25-man set. I think all the ones that I'm about to recommend you can do for less than 1,000. Probably a lot less if you just go find super cheap guys.
Make some budget in my book.
Yep. Bartolo Cologne, he's got a 92 fastball, 95 slider, 83 changeup, and a 73 curveball. So that's going to be a nice change of pace.
And his fastball control is a huge thing too. I mean, it's been a big thing for him now because he throws mostly fastballs. I think he has the number 2 percentage in the majors of fastballs thrown. 92 control on his fastball. Pick your spots, establish your fastball, learn how to pitch.
Then another lefty you can go out and get is Wandy Rodriguez from the Astros. 90 mile per hour fastball, 76 mile per hour curve. He also has a change, a slider, and a 2-seamer. Ooh, he's got 80 control on that curveball and 79 break.
Yes.
That's
Love the
nasty.
high control for off-speed stuff.
That's a nasty put away pitch. And the last recommendation for me is going to be the Reds. Reds. There's an 83 overall Bronson Arroyo. I think his set was pretty cheap as well. 4-seam, 12-6, change, slider, cut. As I said, I'm a huge fan of the 12-6 slider combo. And he's got great control over all his pitches. And one of those lineups that people probably aren't going to like that much online if you do that.
One of the other guys, if you want to jump down to the Rockies 25 man. I know we talked about him a little earlier. The Jorge De La Rosa is sitting at 90 stamina, 83 Ks over 9, 75 hits over 9. He's got a 93 mile an hour fastball and a 76 mile an hour curveball. Control is not great on anything. His break isn't great on any of his pitches, but his ratings combined with his speeds on his pitches and decent pitch mix will make him very, very good for you, especially for hashtag Team No Money.
You got any other recommendations for some cheap starting pitchers?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to give out all the secrets, do we?
No, definitely not.
I do love that Kazmir. I can't put a stamp on that Kazmir enough. That Kazmir for me, I mean, you have to understand that he doesn't have a 4-seamer, but that Kazmir is amazing card.